WOBM AM 1160 and 1310 and WOBMAM.com.
And back here in hour number 2, still to come up, we'll chat with Monmouth University head football coach Kevin Callahan. But certainly one of these stories going into this season dealt with the young man who is going to join us in just a second, and that is Red Bank Catholic quarterback Eddie Hahn. The story was Hahn, who had a tremendous junior year, verbally committed to the University of Connecticut, suffered a knee injury in August. Speculation was minor surgery. How long would he be out? And, when would he be back? And lo and behold, he missed the opener against Long Branch and then came back last week against St. Joseph Metuchen. And in his first game, completed 14 of 18 passes for 301 yards and 3 touchdowns. So as we say good evening to Mr. Hahn, I guess the knee feels pretty well.
Yeah, it feels really well. Getting back on the field is just was the main objective after I got injured and everything. And a bunch of guys stepped up, like Colin Shaughnessy, Dylan Murphy, Mike Weiland, running the ball. Colin stepped in for me at quarterback. Definitely did his job and led the team to a win over Long Branch and played a great preseason, a great first game.
Let me just say this, Eddie. Obviously, you had been back to practice, and I'm sure you erred on the side of caution, your family and your doctors, and when you came back. But did you have some trepidation? Were you wondering what it would be like the first time you made a cut or got hit, and would the knee hold up?
Yeah, the first time I made a cut was actually in practice, and I was a little nervous. But after I made the first cut, everything else felt fine. And then going into the game Friday night, I was a little nervous for the first hit, but I only think I got tackled maybe twice, but I was nervous. And once I got hit the first time, everything else went away, and it was back to playing football the normal way.
Eddie, of course, not only are you an outstanding quarterback, but you're also a great defensive player. I don't think you played defense last week. Any thoughts to joining both sides of the football?
Yeah. I didn't play any defense last week, and right now I'm just trying to get back to full strength. And once I get back to full strength, I'm going to give it a shot on the defensive side and talk to Coach Portella and just see how I'm feeling and everything. But I definitely plan on getting back on the defensive side of ball.
Eddie, not to reiterate your injury, but knee injuries are pretty common nowadays among football players. Tell us a little bit about your rehab and how you got back so quickly.
Well, I had a great group of doctors and physical therapists, like Dr. Bade and Elite Physical Therapy, that really just took me under their wing and tried getting me back on the field as soon as possible. And I thank them a lot, and my family has been there, and the coaching staff and my teammates have been there too. And I thank them a lot for just giving me support, helping me keep my head up, and look into the future and realize that I'll be back sooner. And now that I'm back, I thank them so much just for their support and everything.
See, he throws a plug, 2 of our advertisers, our
there
big advertisers, Professional Orthopedic Associates, and, of course, Elite, as he mentioned, helped him get back on the field. So with your health no longer an issue and, you're getting all your reps and all that, let's just talk a little bit about this Casey's team. Coming off just an outstanding season a year ago, you win the first state sectional championship for the school since 1976. Just a great, great year, but clearly – you lost a ton of very good football players. Just some outstanding players, led by our Defensive Player of the Year, Jamie Gordonier, who's now at the University of Miami. So, for you coming back this year, what were your thoughts on what was coming back and the role, how your role might change on a team that would have some newcomers?
My role didn't change much, but every year is a new year, and last year's team, we won a state championship, but the goal is always 12-0, and the Coach Portella always preaches that. And this year's team, just like teams in the past, we have the capability of doing it if we play to our potential and everything. So, the newcomers, the sophomores have stepped up, like Brandon Dente, Michael Briggs, Matt Ansell, who's playing safety for us now that I'm hurt and everything. He's played great the first 2 games of the year and even the preseason. But a lot of kids are maturing, and that's the main thing right now is just battling through adversity, like getting injured and stuff like that. And they're really starting to realize what varsity football is like, especially at Red Bank Catholic. And, I mean, they're doing a great job handling it as young as they are. And the seniors are doing a great job leading, like Mike Weiland, Mike Balzafury, Dan Lekowski, Dylan Murphy, Brian O'Nice, and Liam Smith. I mean, everybody's doing a great job picking them up to speed and bringing the kids that are sophomores, bringing them into, like, the varsity setting and just showing them how fast the game actually is. So, I mean, that's the biggest part of our team right now. And, I mean, defensive side of the ball has been playing great lately, and the offense is starting to click. So, I mean, our team is just – we could go 12-0, and, I mean, that's the goal. So, we just got to see how everything plays out.
Okay, it's a little bit about this week. You got to go on the road and face a dangerous Neptune team. They're off 0-2, but they're capable, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Neptune's always a hard game. I mean, last year it was 10-0 at halftime, and then the final score was 37-0. But they're always a battle. They're always going to give us – every team is just going to give us their A game because of who we are, being Red Bank Catholic and everything, the rich tradition we have. And, I mean, Neptune 0-2, but, I mean, really records don't mean anything. Anything can happen every Friday night or Saturday, when teams play. But, I mean, it's just a game of football. Anything can happen.
Real quick, Eddie, your decision to verbal to UConn. A lot off your mind doing that so early?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just felt right with the coaching staff, Coach Portello, and sitting down with Coach Portello and my parents. And we just thought it was the right fit. And getting it off my mind really is like a relief because I can go out my senior year and just have fun with my friends, and enjoy the whole year and not have to worry about where I'm going to college or anything. And I mean, it's just a relief to just go out there, play, and have fun my last year of high school.
Now, it's not unusual, Eddie, in the world we live in today for players to verbal, and of course you can't do anything until letter of intent day in February, for players to verbal, but in their senior year contemplate still taking some visits to other schools. Are you thinking about that, or are you just solid UConn all the way?
I'm solid UConn all the way. I mean, I love Coach Diaco, Coach Brown, my area recruiter, and the coaching staff up there is just tremendous. And whenever I was up there, they made me feel like I was at home, and that was the main part about me verbaling to UConn. And I mean, it just felt like Red Bank Catholic football all over again.
Position-wise, a lot of people said when you were listed, when I would look on some of the recruiting sites, I would see Eddie Hahn, athlete, as opposed to a specific position. Obviously, Ed mentioned you're an outstanding defensive player. Have you had those conversations with UConn as to where you might play, or are you just going to let the chips fall once you get there?
A little bit of both. I mean, they told me I'm going to be a big skill athlete, wherever that fits in, quarterback, receiver, tight end. And defensively, defensive back, nickel, corner. I mean, the chips will fall when I get there and they can get their hands on me, teach me a few positions, and just be where they need me best at right now.
Well, I got a funny feeling that when they get, as you put it, get their hands on you, they're going to be pretty happy with the you that they get.
Thank you.
That was very good, Ed. That
Thank
was
you.
very good. For right now, though, obviously your big thoughts are on Neptune tomorrow night. I know, listen, if Coach Portello was here, I could never ask you this because he'd grab me and he'd throw the headset off me. But you mentioned the goal every year is to go 12-0. Last year you went 11-1. Because you lost your last regular season game at Jackson Memorial. Ironically, your last regular season game this year will be against that same Jackson Memorial team. I would assume you'd like to exercise some demons and maybe reverse the outcome of that one.
Absolutely, but right now we're just going to take it week by week. I mean, the main goal is Neptune, and then next week we can worry about Wall, and then the week after Colts next. But right now we're just focusing on Neptune and getting be 3-0 come tomorrow night after the game.
That's the Portella influence. I knew I wasn't getting anything out of you. I wouldn't have expected anything less. Eddie, really, thanks so much. We just wanted to catch up with you. We're so happy you're back on the field, and I'm sure everyone associated with KC football is as well. We look forward to seeing you down the road. Stay healthy and have a great senior season.
Thank you.
All right, there goes Eddie Hahn, one of the top players in the Shore. And
yeah, you know, it was a meniscus injury, surgery on the torn meniscus. You know, sometimes that could be a month or two, you know. He was back very quickly and, you know, actually was, you know, okay for week one, but had not practiced during the week. And off the record, Coach Portello said that he's released by the doctors, but we're going to hold him back till he gets a good 10 days of practice, and he did. You know, Ed, and we'll take a break and then talk to Coach Cal in a second. I didn't really go into detail, but the St. Joe's Metuchen game was actually a pretty difficult game last week for RBC. They won 32-18, and, you know, last year they rolled over teams every week. I would think maybe get a little more challenged this year. I would think that's correctly. They lost so many outstanding players. However, if you do look, and we could talk like this, they can't. But if you look at their schedule, it is definitely loaded at the back end of their schedule. Correct. Their last three are against Manalapan, Ocean Township, and Jackson. Those three teams could very easily be undefeated or have one or at the most 2 losses. And then, of course, before that, you've got a Red Bank team who's 2-0 right now. Who knows where their season's going? And absolutely, there's a rivalry game, and how much would Red Bank, you know, love to be competitive against RBC, you know? Yeah, you got that right. You're right. I agree with you. But maybe just a little bit different than last year, maybe more challenges along the way. Well, and the schedule helps them because they get all these new kids playing time. There's a good point as well. For that. That's a good point. Okay, we'll take a break. When we come back, it's Hawks football for the home stretch here as we talk with Monmouth head coach Kevin Callahan. We do that after this on the Thursday Night High School Football Show on the Shore Sports Network.
Water Street Bar and Grill in downtown Toms River is the ultimate sports bar. With 32 HD TVs, Water Street brings you all the action of every football game. Located right on the water, Water Street is the perfect place to enjoy the finest views of the shore. Whether you want to grab a few drinks with friends, catch your favorite game, eat a delicious meal, or enjoy live entertainment every Friday and Saturday nights, Water Street is the place for a good time. Located across from Huddy Park on Robbins Parkway in downtown Toms River. Visit them at bakerswaterstreet.com.
For the latest high school football news, visit shoresportsnetwork.com. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310, and WOBMAM.com.
And we are at the Water Street Bar and Grill, where people are starting to come in for the Giant Redskin game, Thursday Night Football. A good one tonight, a desperate Giants team. My goodness. Cool. I mean, 0-3, and there'll be people ready to, you know, jump off the Verrazano Bridge or whatever. I mean, it won't be a pretty sight. So that pretty good one. Would have been would have been similar to Monmouth University if that Wagner W didn't come, huh? Boy, you're not kidding. Hopefully, and let's talk a little bit Monmouth with Coach Kevin Callahan. The Hawks last Saturday picking up that inaugural W with a 31-16 win at Wagner. A very, very good win, although I know he's going to tell me they're all good wins. So here is the only head coach in Hawks history and our good friend, Coach Cal. Good evening.
Good evening, guys. How are you?
We're great. Our colleague, Mr. Harmon, your buddy, is not with us tonight on one of his many special assignments. He goes gallivanting around New Jersey, so we'll hold down the fort. And I know what had to please you last week was the fact that you got off to such a fast start in that one.
Well, I think that was the key. I mean, in the first 2 weeks, you know, we kind of were slow starting, and, you know, particularly on the offensive side, and I think a lot of that was due to Cody Williams just finding his comfort zone and finding his groove. And I think what we've seen in each of the last 3 weeks now is he's grown tremendously each and every game. You know, from Holy Cross to Central Michigan, there was a big change and a big step, and then from Central Michigan to Wagner, there was a big step, and I could really see it on the field last Saturday night. He was very comfortable. The game seemed to slow down for him quite a bit, and he really had good control of what he was doing, and that's so important. And I think once the other guys on offense saw the confidence that Cody was exhibiting, you know, they in turn picked up on that, and then you have guys like Ambush and Cheney and Vallis and all the other guys really ready to contribute.
Of course, you got a Freshman of the Week out of Cody this week, right, Coach? That's always nice to win those awards.
Yep, Big South Freshman of the Week. Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, a little bit about Fordham now. This is not an easy football game. You got to go on the road, okay? They're 2-1 with wins over Columbia and Army, in which they scored 81 points in those 2 wins. They do have a loss against Villanova, great program, 14-7 loss. But, you know, they've got some big-time players led by, I assume, their quarterback, Kevin Anderson, who's thrown for 6 touchdowns already and averages 250 yards a game in the air.
Yeah, Kevin is doing a great job for them. It's his first year as a starter. He was on the squad last year, but after transferring in from Marshall, he had to sit out. And they had a 3-year starter in place who had put up some really terrific numbers. And, you know, they're a top 20 team. They're ranked number 16th in the nation right now. They're coming off 2 consecutive playoff appearances in 2013 and in 2014. They're very dynamic on the offensive side, and they've got one of the best running backs that I have seen in a long time.
Chase Edmonds?
Chase Edmonds, just a terrific back, and was a high school teammate of our starting linebacker, Peyton Minnick, and just a dynamic running back. He is their leading receiver. He is their leading rusher. He won the Jerry Rice Award for the outstanding freshman in the country a year ago, and you don't know where he's going to go once he gets the ball in his hands. So you've really got to play really disciplined, gap-controlled defense. You can't over-pursue or over-penetrate. You've got to know where he is at all the time. And then, as you mentioned, they've got the quarterback, Anderson, who really has a talented group of receivers that he can find the ball on primarily through play action.
You know, Ed jumped right into Fordham. I wanted to give you a little more chance.
Last week, I
talk
know.
about last week because
time is short.
Ed moved on.
But I wanted to mention because two of the local kids from the Shore area,
Mike Basile, right?
Mike Basile out of Brick Memorial had 17 tackles, and former Jackson Jaguar Demetrius Smith, who was the Big South Defensive Player of the Week with a couple of fumble recoveries, a sack, and 5 tackles. I mean, outstanding defensive performances by that pair.
Well, you know, they both had outstanding days, and as you know, Mike has had a terrific freshman season. He's come back and he's off to a very strong start. And anytime you're in on 17 tackles in a game, I mean, you're getting around the field, and and he's one of our most dynamic playmakers. And then Demetrius, the stat line that he had with 5 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, a sack, and 2 fumble recoveries is about as good as you can get for a defensive lineman.
Yeah.
And with all the guys that we have hurt in the defensive line, Demetrius is really the guy that's been holding that unit together. He's playing in the center of the line. He's a tackle position. He's a very stalwart against the run, and he's really just holding that front 7 together right now.
Kevin, we've already mentioned that the Pope is creating some problems for the Philadelphia Eagles. So what have they done? But they've called, I assume, the higher-ups at Monmouth University, and they're going to practice at Monmouth Friday and Saturday. How will that impact you, and how did that whole scenario come about?
Well, first of all, it won't impact us at all. They'll be on the field for a brief time on Friday and a brief time on Saturday, and it really doesn't conflict with the times that we will be on the field at all. And it really came about, I guess, early August. I got a call from the coaching staff down at Philadelphia, and they were just inquiring as to whether or not we could make the field available for them. And they had already researched different accommodations and hotels in the area, and they felt it best to get out of Philadelphia on Thursday night after their practice, after their work day, drive up here, and they'll do a workout tomorrow, and they'll do another workout on Saturday, and then immediately after the Saturday workout, they'll head on up to the Meadowlands and stay at their hotel before the Sunday game up there.
And we'll specify that clearly those practices are closed to the public, closed to the media. So if anyone's planning on going up there, they're not going to be standing on the sidelines next to Miles Austin.
No, they'll travel with their own NFL security and then their own team security. And that's an NFL policy that, late week practices, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, are all closed to the media. They have their press conference, I believe it is on Wednesdays. And then after that, they really shut it down. And what everybody has to understand is these people are here to work. They're here to do their job, and we're going to try to accommodate and give them the best situation that we can here at Monmouth.
Well, it certainly doesn't hurt your program that's where they're headed. It's just a feather in the cap a little bit.
It helps our program. Sure. I mean, the fact that they chose us over all the places they could have gone, Princeton, Rutgers, wherever in the state of New Jersey they picked picked that Monmouth is the place to go, and we're excited to have them here, and we're excited that they chose us, and as I said, we're going to accommodate their wishes and make it a good experience for them.
Now your game with Fordham is on the road, 1 o'clock on Saturday. You can hear it here on the Shore Sports Networks, 1160 and 1310. What are your travel plans for this weekend? Do you not go up till Saturday?
We'll go up on Saturday just because of the proximity, very similar to what we did when we played Wagner on Staten Island. We'll do our normal Friday routine here at home. We'll have our pregame meal Friday night here in our meetings, and then the guys will come in. We'll do a pregame meal on Saturday, and we'll board the buses and go up there and play. It's to be quite honest with you, if we stayed overnight, we'd probably be staying in New Jersey anyways. Maybe a half hour up the road. So it makes more sense to do it this way.
Coach, we talked a lot about their offense for them, the Rams' offense, but their defense is giving up some points. I mean, in their 2 wins, they did give up 59 points. So tell us a little bit about defensively what you expect.
It's a group that's young. They have, they graduated 9 starters from last year's defense. Okay. They really have 3 starters returning because there was one of the fellows who missed the year with an injury who's back. But they're a team that, really tries to defend against the run and stop the run and will load the box on you. And they're going to come at you with a variety of different substitution packages. Their base, their dime, their nickel, their okie. They do just about everything. So you've really got to be sharp mentally when you go up against them, and your week of preparation has to be very good. And to the credit of our guys, I thought we've had a terrific week of preparation.
Well, no question, the win last week makes everyone feel a lot better about themselves. Glad you got off the schneid there. Wish you all the best on Saturday at Fordham, 1 o'clock. Listen to Matt and Eddie on the Shore Sports Network. Should be a good one. Coach, as always, thanks so much for your time, and we'll look forward to chatting with you next week.
Great, guys. Thank you.
There he goes, Coach Kevin Callahan, as Monmouth gets ready to head to Fordham on Saturday.
As we've said this 100 times on our show, you really don't know if he's won the game or lost the game when he comes on, do you?
Well, just remember,
if you didn't know.
We get him on Thursday,
so
the stinging loss is already settled in just a little bit.
Right, and you're on to the next game.
Exactly.
Right?
You know that story. Want to thank Coach Callahan and also our other guest tonight, Red Bank Catholic's Eddie Hahn, Howell coach Luke Sinkhorn, and, of course, from St. John Vianney, head coach Derek Siniski, and their outstanding junior linebacker Tyler Tedeschi. Also, of course, as always, our thanks to Zach Collins back at the studios of the Shore Sports Network and the one and only Tom Tremblay here at Baker's Water Street Bar and Grill, where we'll be next Thursday night. Tomorrow night, the Jersey Mike's game of the week, St. John Vianney at Central. It all starts at 7 o'clock. For my colleague Ed Sarluca, I'm Kevin Williams. You've been listening to the Thursday Night High School Football Show on the Shore Sports Network.
Thank you.
No problem. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
You too.